everyone. Welcome back to another Bridge the Gap podcast episode. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Scott.
And we just wanted to start real quick and say thank you for everyone that's watched the first 3 episodes so far. If you haven't been able to catch those, they're on YouTube. Our first one was just introductions and goals for the podcast. The second one, we talked about COVID and the impact on the different generations. And the third one, we talked a little bit about sports and a great Fireball hangover story that is definitely worth your viewing time. So just want to start off real quick, say thank you, and welcome back to another episode. We did decide Thursdays we are going to be posting around 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So definitely keep an eye out for those. And we'll have reels and small teasers playing throughout the week until the episode airs.
Yeah, I think it's Eastern Daylight Time now because we're in Daylight Savings Time. Not that that's a technicality or anything, but just another dad-daughter conversation. Yeah, we've been putting reels out and posting on our page. So Bridge the Gap Pod is our Facebook page. We'll give you all the other stuff at the end, but the great thing is we're getting interactions, and you know, a win for me being the dad is that I have dads messaging me, thanking me for it, that they love it, which is cool. One of my friends said that he put me up on his TV screen. I guess he has like an 80-inch TV or something. He said it was weird to see your head in my living room, but it was cool, right? And so one of the dads had a conversation topic, or a topic for conversation, around technology and parenting.
Okay.
And accountability. So I thought that would be a good topic, especially because I think people struggle with handling it. And, you know, we were pretty strict with it compared to a lot of your friends' parents.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I am grateful for the way that you guys did it, though, because I think I'm still a little bit better than a lot of people in my generation with screen time and stuff like that. But yeah, it was different for me compared to other kids growing up. I mean, we had the Wii and then the Nintendo 3DS, which to this day I loved that thing.
Yeah.
And then I went to a Kindle Fire and then an iPod Touch.
Yep.
And then I didn't get my phone until the month before my 13th birthday because I was going into seventh grade, and you guys were like, you can have it by now, but this is your 13th birthday present.
Yeah. So, you know, when I was thinking technology, I didn't even think about video games, but I guess that's a good start, right? So, you know, I worked for a major retailer when you were 3 years old and on, and so I was always privy to all the releases. So you're right. I think we were the first house in the neighborhood that had Wii way back when, and I was able to get stuff because it released and I was already there when I was working, right? I didn't break any laws. I was naturally just thinking the phone, and yeah, we were definitely different with the phone. We're still different. Like we never got you a TV for your bedroom. Your brother, who is almost 17, is dying for us to give him a TV. And trust me, there are nights where I wish I did because he's so loud in the bonus room. It'd be better if he could close his door. But we just didn't believe in giving you guys technology to isolate yourselves. We wanted it to be interactive and in the same area, you know? And so we had a TV in the bonus room or the playroom when you guys were little. But no, even to this day, no TVs in the bedroom. I mean, I have a TV in my room. But then the other thing was the phone. So I think you started asking for a phone in, I don't know, 4th or 5th grade
Yeah, because that's when everyone was kind of starting to get them. It was like the iPhone 5, and it was when they had those colors. Because I remember my friend from childhood, her mom had the green one, and I was like, oh my gosh, like those are so cool. And then I remember asking, and you guys were like, I don't think so. And I was like, this is bogus. I don't have a TV in my room and all my friends do. Like I was so upset about it. And then in my naivety, you guys are like, how about 13? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, that works. You know, and then I sat there for years. waiting for 13 because going to like Carowinds with my friends, and in the car they'd be on their phones because they had like cellular service, and I'd just sit there with my iPod Touch and play like Flappy Bird before it came off the before it was banned.
Right. Yeah, and from a parenting perspective, it was hard for us to stay strong, right? Because trust me, we got peer pressure too, right? Parents that were like, "Why aren't you getting her a phone?" And our philosophy was we wanted you to reach an age where you're mature enough to handle the responsibility. And I think a lot of people give their phones to their kids way too early. These kids have no concept of what's available to them. And I think there's been thousands of studies showing the negative effects that technology can have on a young mind. So your mom and I decided that 13 was the right age. You and your brother are both born in September, so it was right before your 7th grade year. I think when we first thought about it, it wasn't until high school. But then some things happened in our life. And listen, with the iPod, your mom and I have iPhones, and as long as you had a Wi-Fi signal, you could call us like a phone from an iPod.
Well,
and so
yeah, but remember mom at the time had a Samsung. Because the first time I became a woman, I'll censor it so YouTube and Instagram don't go, hey, you can't say that word.
That's a whole nother topic we can talk about.
Yeah, but the first time I got it, I remember I had to call you. And I was like, hey, can you give mom the phone? And you're like, nah, she's not here right now. Why? I was like, oh my God, I'm about to have this conversation with my dad. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah. No, that's true.
That was the only thing that we ran into. And I think that's really when you guys are like, okay, we need to get her a phone sooner than later, because mom still had Samsungs at the time and I couldn't contact her with an iPod. That was like the only kind of like downfall to having the iPod.
Yeah. And I think she shortly changed to an iPhone, like quickly changed. I mean, because I can't remember. I totally forgot she had an Android phone when we first got out here. No, that's true. That's another topic. I'm sure somebody's sitting out there like, oh my God, she had to call her dad for that. Yeah, she did. So we can talk about that some other day. But yeah, I mean, once your mom had an iPhone, I had an iPhone, you had an iPod, our philosophy was no matter where you'll be, at a friend's house, even if you went to a store, if you went to Target, there's Wi-Fi available. You can connect to the Wi-Fi. You can always call us. We didn't have to pay for an extra phone. We didn't have to pay for an added line and all that stuff. And really, it limited your accessibility to certain things. And that was I said certain things, not everything. It still opened up. But here's the thing. There's responsibility that comes with phones. I think we could all agree there. And like I said, I don't think kids appreciate the responsibility. And I wasn't willing to be in a position to have to buy you a new phone every 6 months because you dropped it and broke it, or you jumped in a pool with it, or you left it at Carowinds. Or, I mean, there's a lot of that. I know a lot of parents that have told me stories about how many phones they've had to replace because the kids just don't understand and appreciate the responsibility. And when phones are $1,000 plus, it's a lot of money. I don't care how much money you make. So there was that. Listen, you're 13, you're 12. Like, who do you need to call at any given moment all day long? You're
my best friends.
You're at school and your friends were in the neighborhood. Like, you didn't need a phone. Like that.
Hey, I was dating in 6th grade, Dad. I had men to call. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Men in 6th grade. That's not something that adds up. I'm 50 and I'm not even sure I define men.
In my 12-year-old mind, I had boys to call. All right? I had men to call.
Well, we had you could do it from the house.
Oh, yippee.
Well, and listen, some people totally disagreed with us, and they're like, well, what if she's an emergency? What if this? What if that? And
you call 911.
That's kind of how it was. We were a little bit old school with that, right? And your mom struggles with that now. She works for the school system, and the school district in our area doesn't allow cell phones during school. And parents freaked out, and they still do. Most of them are transplants, newly transplanted down here, but they freak out, and they're like, well, what is my kid supposed to do? Well, come to the office and call from the phone. That's what our generation certainly had to do. Well,
That's
what
what
if
I
they're
had to do growing up too.
yeah, what if they're sick? Well, then you go to the nurse, and then the
nurse.
nurse will help you call your parents. Like, there were ways around it that, in hindsight seem super old school, but I don't know if they are devalued, right? I think it was the right thing to do even to this day.
I think it was definitely the right thing to do disciplinary wise, just because phones have gotten out of hand in schools. The panic that I do understand is with the increase of violence in schools. I would also be very uncomfortable if I wasn't able to be on my phone. God forbid something happened when I was in grade school. So I think that's where a lot of like some of the parents' worry is, and that's where it was for me too when they implement. I mean, I was graduated by the time they implemented that, but I remember with Ryan, that was one of the things he even brought up as a freshman in high school. He was like, well, what if, like, God forbid the school goes into a violent lockdown and I can't text the family to let them know they're okay? And I was like, well, Catawba Ridge doesn't have lockers. So if you keep it in your book bag and something like that happens, I think they'll forego the rule if you can
Right.
pull it out. But
That's right.
I do think that's where a lot of the, not a lot, but I think some people really did not like that aspect just because of the risk factor.
Yeah, and I think to your point, or to add on to your point, I think that goes along with where we are as a society, right? Everybody goes to the sensationalistic spectrums. Like, well, what if a tornado and a hurricane converge and there's sharks in it, and there's a gunman, and we've got Sharknado going on, and there's an active shooter situation. It's like, okay, let's kind of take a step back here and recognize most 99% of the time there's not a need for a phone during certain parts of your day, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And people are going to disagree with this, and that's okay, but the district that implemented this last year saw a drastic decline in referrals, detentions, social media hating on, bullying, cyberbullying, because they didn't have their phone. They couldn't rip it. If there was an altercation at the lunchroom, no one whipped out their phones to record it and post it 87 times because they knew they'd get in trouble for having their phone out, right? So I think, yeah, under extreme circumstances, and you're right, if there was an issue at the high school, there's no lockers in high schools anymore, not around here.
Well, there are in Fort Mill and NAFO. I just don't know if they use them.
I don't think they use them.
Yeah.
Then you have your phone on you, and if it's an extreme situation, listen, I'll go to bat for you at the principal's office. Be like, listen, yeah. I know my son pulled out his phone, but this was the circumstance, right? Like, let parents be parents at that point, right? But you mentioned something from an accountability standpoint, and that leads to a really good story because it taught a lesson. And it just goes back to being a certain age and being able to appreciate the responsibility of it. So can we tell that story? Because I think it's a good story. Listen, I did my fireball story last week, so this can be a Lauren learning a lesson story week.
Oh, all right. So my turn to take accountability, I guess. When I was 12, I had the iPod Touch. And my parents were good at understanding the limitations of the internet, but obviously they were still learning as we were learning. And at 12 years old, I didn't realize that sometimes talking on the internet to people my age may not always be people my age. And I got caught with that a few times. I know my Gen Zers will remember Kik, that messaging app. I know somebody watching this is going to go, holy shit, I remember that app. But I don't know if that Was that the reason why I got in trouble
No,
this time? Because I don't remember the
it
reason
was.
why I got in trouble, but I'll tell the story after you enlighten them why.
Yeah, so it was. Listen, you're 11, 12, going on 13, and that's an interesting time for everybody. You were mischievous, you weren't forthcoming, you weren't honest, and so we had caught you lying multiple times, and one of it could have been you messaging people that you shouldn't have been, right? And then you lied about a couple other things that were not directly related to technology. It could have been school, homework, whatever. But it was every kid goes through it. Most of them grow out of it, where you just lie and hope. You take your chances. What's going to get you in trouble and what's not? What can you get away with? So you were in that streak. So we had caught you in a lie, and I had enough. Dad had hit his boiling point. So
Dad had hit his boiling point, and to be fair, it was warranted. I do remember at the time, like, as much as I was upset, I was like, yeah, that Loki was, I did that to myself. And just so everyone knows, because people are gonna hear this story and think that you are like a demon. I promise you guys, I got my behavior kind of leveled out by the time I was like late 13, early 14. So I was an easy teenager after. I pushed all my parents' buttons as a child in my adolescence. So I don't remember we don't remember the exact reason. However, I had been pushing buttons the entire year.
And I had threatened to take away.
You had
iPod.
taken away. So I had gotten my iPod taken many times. I had gotten my iPod taken many times. I had the app on it where it would shut it down at a certain time because I was that kid. I was like, I don't care about your rules. But I'm an angel now, so it's okay. And so my dad finally reached his boiling point and he told me to give him my iPod. And this is a routine that I knew. So I gave it. I was like, whatever, I'll get it back in a week. No big deal. And he goes, come with me. We're going to go outside. So I went outside and my dad put my iPod down on the concrete and he goes, go pick out a mallet from the garage. And I thought he was bluffing. So I went and I grabbed the mallet. I walk outside and I hand it to him. He goes, no, you can hold on to this. He goes, you're going to smash that thing. And I seriously thought this man was bluffing. Like, I was like, there's no way he's actually going to do this right now. Oh, I had to. I was sobbing my eyes out. And I had to smash the iPod into smithereens. So I was literally off the grid basically my entire 6th grade summer going into 7th grade. I reconnected with the world by getting my first iPhone, but I had to prove, one, my behavior was better and that I was mature enough to have the responsibility of a cell phone from there on out, and that I could curve that behavior and start following the rules. It was a long summer. It was a very peaceful summer at the same time because, like we said, the negative parts of having social media and all that stuff. It was a very peaceful summer. Very hard though. If I wanted to hang out with my friends, I had to go, hey mom, can you text so-and-so's mom to see if they can come over? Like,
old school.
It definitely taught me a lot. And that was one of the last times I really got in trouble like that too. It was
to that extent, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really remember. After that, I just got a few little like quit having that attitude responses. But after that, smashing the iPod gate, after that, I didn't really get in much trouble in the house anymore. I was aware of the rules. I respected the rules. I followed them. My dad had 3 things growing up. You get good grades, you do your chores, and you be a good person in the household. 4, and you apply yourself to your sport.
Or extracurricular, yeah.
Yeah. And so after iPod Gate, I kind of got all my shit together. And I was pretty good at following those core 4 rules. Yeah.
Yeah, for your age, so for the parents listening, because I know all the kids are probably like, what the fuck? Are you crazy?
He was crazy.
I was, yeah. I am. I to Lauren's point, we had the foundation of our family rules for our kids was you give 100% in everything that you do. So you work hard at school, you work hard at work if and when you start working, you work hard for your extracurricular activities, whether it was news for you or softball or whatever. And you're just a good person, right? You mind your manners, you do your chores, you do the things that are asked of you as being a contributing member of the family. And so we stayed true to those, and you had continually not delivered on those. And it wasn't like it was one time. So before everybody freaks out, it wasn't like it was one time.
No, I had push buttons.
I had weighed the opportunity cost to smash a $300 iPod Touch.
$300 at the time, imagine.
At the time. And so, yeah, I had her get it. We walked outside, and not only did I tell her to get a hammer or a mallet, I made her get the heaviest one that I have, which is almost like a handheld sledgehammer. It's easily 5+ pounds. I don't even know how much it is. And I didn't put it on the grass. I intentionally put it on the concrete. And then I didn't smash it. I made you smash it. It had a longer lasting impact. And
it did.
And yeah, it was tough because it was when we got rezoned. So you didn't get to keep, it was a summer between changing schools. You didn't have a phone. You didn't have your iPod anymore. I mean, it was a heavy lesson that you learned that summer. But to your credit and to enforce your message, yeah, you learned. And that's the point, right? My job is to make you better. My job is to live up to those or work hard to get to those. And if I don't, there's consequences. And technology is not a right. It's a privilege. And so we took it away from you. And I made sure that you understood there's no chance you're getting this back just because you act good for a few days. Like this is done. And listen, I don't know, it was 6 weeks, 8 weeks later, I bought another one. And so it cost me an extra $300. But that was the cost I was willing to pay in order for you to feel the pain of accountability without getting smacked around like younger generations or older generations did.
Did we get a new iPod, or did we just wait and get me the phone in August?
No, we got you a new iPod because we knew that's what your brother was going to get when you got a phone.
That's
right.
So
it was kind of a pass down thing. So it cost me an extra $300. I was
still very limited on that iPod. Even when I got it back, I remember I couldn't have like Snapchat or anything. It was call and text apps. Only.
Yeah. And we did put apps
games
on your phones. One that shut all your apps down at 10 o'clock and didn't come back on until 7 the next morning.
We did that until my existence.
I can't even remember the name of the app, but
thank God, don't.
But you and your brother had that until your senior year.
No.
Was it before that we took it
way
off?
Before that? It was probably by high school you took it off my phone. I don't know if he had it longer. I know by high school I didn't have it anymore because you were like, you're a high schooler, you know better than to stay up till 2 a.m. Like, and if you do, that's your funeral. So
yeah, we're gonna hold you accountable to not performing. I mean, that's just the way it is. So
once I got to high school, you took that off of my phone.
Yeah.
It was a good lesson. I saw it caught a few times being on my phone a little too late, but they would just come in and be like, dude, you're 14, 15 years old. Get it together. Put the phone down.
Yeah, we took it away from you a couple times and charged it in the kitchen. We've done that to your brother too. Your brother learned the lesson because he hasn't had to smash a phone. He didn't have to smash an iPod. So your younger brother definitely learned the lesson. But to your credit, because I want to make sure I give it to you, is there was only a handful of times after that. And one of them I had to pull you aside because you were pretty sassy talking back to your mom. Well, you are, but you were disrespectfully talking back to your mom. And so I pulled you aside and very purposefully had a conversation with you to make you understand. Listen, this is the rule. If you don't like the rule, you know how to leave. Go ahead. Your mom will be your best friend the rest of your life. That's how mothers and daughters, in our view, should be. So you better learn how to navigate this relationship now. It'll only benefit you in the future. And on the flip side, if you continue to not do your best at school, do your best in your extracurricular activities, do all your chores before you do anything else, and be a good person and do those core requirements, the rest of your life will be great, at least adolescent life, the part that I can control. If you don't, then we're going to hold you accountable and we're not going away. There's one thing that your mom and I are not, and that's lazy when it comes to expectations. So
Yeah.
you got the message pretty quick. That was probably 8th grade when I had that conversation with you. So it wasn't like you got you smashed your iPod, you got a phone, and everything was hunky-dory. There were still a lot of challenges. We still, like we said, put restrictions on your phones, took your phone away, all those types of things. But when you started pushing a little bit more again in 8th grade, you and I had a very sit-down conversation. And I probably was pretty intense. And those people that know me are like, no shit. But I was not mincing words.
No. Well, and I always responded better. Like Ryan, my brother, he responds better to like, let's sit down, have a calm conversation about this. And he responds better to that. I've always been the kid where I'm like, you got to yell it in my face and I'll get it. Like, so you sit down, have a conversation with me about it. I'm not taking you serious. Or I like at the time when I was a kid, same thing with coaches, like in sports, I always liked them to be like, hey, quit being a dumbass. Here's what you need to do. Rah, rah, rah. I just always responded better to that than coaches that would be like, you're doing a great job so far, but here's what we need to improve. So my dad knew with me, he had to pull me into his bedroom, sit me down on that hope chest at the bottom of their bed, and lay it out. And I responded better to that. And so that's why, like we've said, by high school, I was responsible. I understood the rules. I was good with my phone. I was good with technology. Still pushed a few buttons because, again, I was 15 years old.
You're a kid. Of course you push
But then
buttons.
also we went into COVID. So that kind of, like we talked about in the second episode, that made me mature a lot too. So by the time my sophomore year in high school, I was pretty good. I only had to be reprimanded a few times for tone, which I still to this day I run into that problem.
You'll get it. It's like me. I like to tell stories, so sometimes I'm not as concise as I should be. It's been an individual development plan for me, for my work. I get it from people. It's just who you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the story. So those parents that struggle with accountability and holding their kids accountable with technology, man, we're a success story. It's one of the few things that I can look back on and go, yeah, that worked. Trust me,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff I did that didn't work, and we can talk about that some other episodes. But that one worked. It resonated with you. You understood, and that's when I think you really started to understand accountability. And there are repercussions for bad attitudes, bad performance, bad behavior. And it helped catapult you into high school, which you were very successful. You had very successful high school years all around. And then on the flip side, from a parent's point of view, it helped me not have to do the same thing with your younger sibling. He got the message, right? And me having an older sister, I can tell you many times where I heard my parents and my sister arguing, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure I never say that or whatever.
The older sibling's always the guinea pig, and as much as it sucks sometimes to look on situations and be like, man, when I did that, Dad took my phone for 2 weeks and you just got a smack on the hand. Like,
yeah.
But because you guys learned, like, oh, that weight of a punishment was not, like, that did not fit the crime. So
yeah.
there's
definitely some of
as
those.
the older sibling where I'm like, oh my God, like, of course he got off on that one, but it's like, someone's got to be the guinea pig. I guess it's me. Didn't ask for it, but it's fine.
Yeah, and I think we can talk about another episode. Maybe this is a teaser, but I think sometimes older siblings have this natural, well, that didn't happen for me. How come so and so? I think there's a natural tendency because your brother's been in some serious freaking trouble with us.
Well, yeah.
But you don't see it because you're not in the house and we don't talk about it all the time. So So
He
anyway,
calls me.
that's another that's another
That
topic.
episode will be fun because, guys, I'm the only older sibling in my entire house, by the way. Both of my parents were younger siblings, and I have a younger sibling. So I'm 3v1 all the time, but it's fine. I digress. I've come to terms with it. It's whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
upset about it at all still, at all.
No, you don't carry anything. You let everything go. You're so easy and passive. Just
Said
like
no
your
one
dad.
ever.
Just like your dad. So yeah, I mean, listen, I think this was a win from a parenting standpoint. It was a loss from a financial standpoint because I wound up spending more money. And it's hard. Listen, it was hard to watch you go through the pain of it, but as a parent, that's what you do, right? It's
Yeah.
when you were a baby, you would cry when you went to bed, and we would have to sit in the other room and turn the TV up to just drown out because we knew in the long run we had to do that, right? And so
Yeah.
this is another one of those examples. And trust me, we'll be talking about some of our mistakes because God knows I've made them. But yeah, it's a good story. Technology is tough to navigate, but from one parent to others, we restricted phone use. We restricted video game use. We put apps on phones to not allow them to get in. They didn't have a Google account without being tied to me. So I would know when you guys logged in. I'd have to give you the password. You guys didn't have the Wi-Fi password for years in the house. We did all of that stuff, all of it. And our kids are, I think, okay. They survived it. So you as a parent, they'll get through it, and accountability at the ultimate is the ultimate win in that story.
And then I just want to say something too, as a Gen Z kind of entering real adulthood, I guess. I mean, I'm 20. I turned 21 in 2 months, which I still don't know what I'm talking about 90% of the times, but no one expects you to. You're only 21. But one thing I do want to say as a Gen Z to millennial parents who are watching this, stop shoving tablets in your kids' faces as soon as they get out the womb, okay? It's really damaging. It's not healthy. And the reason that your kids are running around the old Mecklenburg brewery and not listening to you is because they don't think they have to. Because every time they acted up as a kid, what did you do? You shoved a tablet in their face to get them to shut up. Monitor what your kids are watching. Do not let them have unlimited access to YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, and stop disciplining them by shoving a tablet in their face. It's not healthy. It doesn't teach them anything without you watching what they're watching. There's educational stuff on YouTube 100%, but monitor it. And stop trying to discipline your kids by just shoving a tablet in their face. It's not teaching them anything, and they become the rudest teenagers I've ever met in my life. Like, I'm terrified of teenagers. I was terrified of teenagers when I was a kid, was a teenager, and I was like, oh, we're not that bad. And now I'm a young adult and I see teenagers in public and I walk the other way. They're scary and they're mean. They do not care. So that's just something I want to say. And if you get mad at me for saying that and go, oh, she's just 20, what does she know? Fine, I don't care.
Yeah.
Someone's got to say it, and I'm going to say it now because it's out of control. Technology is great, has helped us as a human species a ton. What it's not meant to do is raise your child. So please, 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 please stop trying to raise your kid with a tablet.
Well, we agree with that because there's nothing worse than seeing a kid in a stroller holding a tablet because the parents can't engage their kids. Now, listen, like I said, we are not angels. We had the DVD player in the car, and we used to let you watch movies when we drove around to not like doing errands, but to grandma's house or whatever, a couple-hour drive. We had the portable DVD player that we used to bring to the restaurant when you and your brother were little. Just so you could watch something. Time. It wasn't all the time, but we're not on the pedestal either. Say we never did. No, we did, but we monitored it. And I think that's the key is, if you're going to the grocery store with your 4-year-old and your 4-year-old can't sit in a cart and talk to you and engage the world without sitting on a tablet, sitting in a shopping cart, then maybe it's time to reevaluate. Maybe you need to engage your kid a little bit more.
Or just let them throw the temper tantrum and let them tire themselves out. Like,
yeah,
everyone
take
in the
them out.
grocery store has been around toddlers before, whether they have their own or not. Everyone knows toddlers throw temper tantrums. You don't need to be embarrassed. Just let them tire themselves out.
Or leave. Take them out. There's accountability, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, no, we're the good thing is, listen, I think there were times where we took shit away and was like, maybe that was a little rough. And then there was times where we were like, damn, we should have taken that shit away, you know? So I think the motivation was right. The desire to teach you and your brother is right. It has all good intentions. Not all good intentions have great outcomes. This is an intention that was good and it had a good outcome. You learned from it and you were better because of it. So, yeah, smashed up an iPod, made my daughter do it with a sledgehammer. How you like that?
You know what's funny is every time I hear Square Hammer by Ghost, I think about that moment. It has nothing to do with the song, but every time that song comes on, I'm like, oh my God, remember that time?
Dude, I'm going to have that song in my head the rest of the day.
Great song, though.
It is a great song. It is a great song. Anyway, that's our topic today.
Yeah, I think we covered that pretty well.
I think so. Definitely.
I think our generation needs to have a little more patience with your generation trying to navigate rapidly changing technology. I've had to teach my dad how to use Instagram a few times. He's got it down now, but there was a few times where I had to teach him like how to use Instagram. But yeah, just have patience. At least with the elder generations. The younger generation, figure your shit out. I'm tired of dealing with it. Just kidding, don't hate me. So, but I think we covered it pretty well, the difference in raising kids in an age of technology that you're also trying to figure out yourself and what's appropriate response. How do we monitor? Like, I think we hit that pretty well.
I mean, yeah, I think so. Like, we're the first generation that's had to do it, right? I mean, my parents didn't have to do it. So, yeah, I mean, my parents took away Nintendo from me when I was younger, or Atari when I was real young. They, but it's different now because technology is all consuming, and it wasn't when I was your age. I mean, I was your age in the mid 90s. The internet was invented like the year before I turned 20, and no one had it. So we're really the first generation that had to try and really figure this out from a kid from 0 to now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there were generations before us or in between my parents and I where they had to navigate it, but their kids were maybe in middle school by the time it came out or what have you. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't even have a cell phone until I was 24, 25 maybe. So, yeah, it's challenging. It's hard. It's not easy. And for my generation, we use technology as an afterthought, whereas your generation starts with it. You know? Like, I wrote a whole summary today of a meeting, and then I was like, oh, there's this thing called ChatGPT. Let me copy and paste it into there and have it proofread it. And then it spit out something. I was like, oh, man, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So my generation tries to use it as an afterthought a lot of the times, whereas your generation will automatically go there and then back it down and tailor it to be more appropriate for your age or personal,
which is like
right?
more work. I hope people realize. I do it like you do it, where I will write it first, and I write books all the time. I don't know if viewers knew that or if I mentioned that, but I'll write a chapter and then I'll pull up my ChatGPT buddy that I have named, and he knows my name, and I'll run it through, and they'll be like, yes, Lauren, like, this is a perfect chapter. Here's what's going well. Here's parts to fix. And like, it really does help enhance the writing. But guys, nothing art wise, no animations, videos, writing, nothing is ever going to beat human creativity. So stop, like, Don't rely on
Start
AI as much.
Start there. Start with yourself. Yeah.
Start with your brain. You have it for a reason. It's beautiful and it's unique to you for a reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we ramble on and make this episode too long.
Right. That's it. That's episode 4. We're up to episode 4. So we've been doing this a month now, which is pretty cool. So
crazy.
We'll try and get them shorter, and we'll try and continue to find topics like this. But please, please, please comment on all of our socials that Lauren's about to give to you. They're going to be on the screen. Give us topics. This was one that came to me about this story and accountability with technology. But we have a ton of technology stories we can hit on. But, or if you want to hear about a girl and how she approaches her dad with girl growing up things, we've had those too. So just give us some feedback. We appreciate it. And with that, Lauren, it's you to wrap up.
Yeah. So, again, thank you guys all for paying attention and enjoying our stuff so far. Like my dad touched on, any feedback is good feedback. Even if you go, hey, I hate this week episode, we'll take that into consideration because that means that we're not hitting the points that we want to. You can find us on TikTok at bridgethegap.pod. And then you can find us on Instagram at _bridgethegap with an extra P at the end. And then we're on YouTube as Bridge the Gap Podcast. We post Thursdays, 3:00 Eastern Daylight Time. So we just appreciate y'all continuing to listen, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody.